Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. So I decided to just put a quick video together to prepare you guys for our test that is tomorrow. So what I'm going to be going over is when you're given a quadratic, how can you determine the y-intercept, the x-intercept, and the vertex form, or just the vertex? So first, we're going to start with the y-intercept, and this is going to be the equation we are working with. So just remember that when we're in the standard form, which is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This is standard form. Y equals c is our y-intercept. So if I go and do my ABCs, I'm going to do it down here. 1, B is 8, and C is negative 20. I can see that my C value is negative 20. So our y-intercept will be y equals negative 20. So now our x-intercept. So for x-intercept, we need to get it into factored form. So good thing I already have my ABCs listed here. So what we have to do next is we're going to have to do A times C. And that's going to be 1 times negative 20, which is equal to negative 20. So next, what we have to do is find two numbers that multiply to negative 20, but add to positive 8. And I can see that's going to be 10 times negative 2, which is negative 20, and 10 plus negative 2 equals positive 8. So we're going to take these two values, 10 and negative 2, let me make that negative sound a little bit more clear, and rewrite our expressions with those two values as our b values. So we're going to have two b values now. So it's going to be y equals x squared plus 10x minus 2x minus 20. So we're going to go ahead and look at the first two terms only, x squared and 10x. And we're going to go ahead and factor out the greatest common factor. In this situation is only going to be x. So if I factor out an x, we will have x plus 10 within the parentheses, right? So then we're going to automatically write x plus 10 here as well. And we're going to ask ourselves, what do we need to factor out of the second set of terms? So we can get x plus 10 within the parentheses. And there I can see it will be minus 2, because minus 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times positive 10 does equal negative 20. So boom. So then the last step is we put it all together. So you'll get x plus 10 times x minus 2. But just putting it in factor form is not enough. Now we actually need to determine what is our x-intercepts. So we go ahead and set each parentheses equal to 0. Remember, the reason why we do that is because when we have an x-intercept, our y-coordinate is 0. So we're setting the equation equal to 0. Then we just solve for x. So our two x-intercepts are negative 10 and positive 2. So boom. So far we determined our y-intercepts, and so far we determined our x-intercepts. So now we need to get into vertex form. And that's when we have to complete the square. So I'm going to quickly just rewrite the equation. And the first thing I'm going to do is add 20 on both sides. Right? And the reason why we do that, let me remind you what vertex form is. It's y equals x minus h squared plus k. So within our vertex form, we have a perfect square. So we're going to go ahead and turn our quadratic into a perfect square. And in order to do that, we only need our a and b values only. So if I was to start to try to make an array, right, and make it into a square, because remember, we're trying to make a perfect square. Let me write that down so you understand what we're doing. We're aiming for a perfect square. I already know if I want to do that with my x squared, I just need to put x and x here, right? But for that b value, right, I want the same amount on the top and on the left side of my array. So I'm going to take that 8 and divide it by 2. So I'm going to put 4 and 4. And now I do have a square. So now let me fill out my array. I get x squared, 4x, 16. And when I put it all together, I get x squared plus 8x plus 16. So that means if I want to make this a perfect square, I must add 16. But we need to balance the equation. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. So I'm going to add a 16 there as well. And if we really look at our array, we already know how to factor this because this array was x plus 4 times x plus 4 or x plus 4 squared. So that's how I'm going to factor this. I'm now going to combine those two terms, that 16 and that 20, which is 36. So now remember, vertex form says y equals, not y plus 36 equals. So I'm now going to subtract 36 on both sides. And now I have it in vertex form. So now to state what our coordinates of the vertex is. So our y coordinate, the sign remains the same. So it says negative 36. So our y coordinate is still going to be negative 36. But for our x coordinate, we change the sign. So if it's plus 4, it's going to be minus 4. And that is our vertex. Hope the video helps, guys. Watch it, study, practice. You guys got this. Ciao.